Okay, so tomorrow for independent practice, we're going to be focusing on stem and leaf plots. So that's what tomorrow's lesson objective page is focusing on. Do not forget to every single day practice and look through these flashcards to get ready for the vocabulary quiz, but also because you need to know these words to really understand the math that we're doing. So please make sure you take time each day to do that. Okay, now this particular video we're going to come back to in just a moment. This is me talking through the notes pages in the lesson for Chapter 10, Lesson 5. But don't forget, on this page, we also have other examples for you to look at as well. So this gives you more information about stem and leaf plots. Um, and also, there's a video of me talking through this particular item if reading through it yourself is confusing for you. Don't forget we have extra credit available at all times. You can work on Imagine Math and do Imagine Math Facts practice each day for more points on your test that you may have scored um, not so great on. Okay, so we're going to pause for a moment. I want you to get your math textbook out and open it up to page 815 because we're going to preview before we get to the notes for stem and leaf plots. Page 815 is where chapter 10, lesson 5 begins, stem and leaf plots. The important words are stem and leaf plot, stems, leaves, and key. Okay, so I said preview, but I really meant review. So we're going to look at a set of data about someone who is instant messaging their friends, and we're going to talk about the centers for measures of center for data. So basically, practice finding median, mode, and mean before we move on to the new kind of graph that we're learning today. Okay, so as you can see, I wrote them out in order from least to greatest, and I marked them off. I forgot to mark off 45, but I did write that down. So mark it off as you go to make sure that you don't forget anything. But I'm going to double check by, I should have marked off 35 as well. I'm going to double check by, first off, verifying how many points I have. So 3 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is to be 21. So there should be 21 numbers in this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, good. All right, so the first thing we're going to find is the median, and the median is the middle of the data. Go ahead and figure out what the middle of the data is. Answer that for me, please. Okay, so the middle of the data is going to be the 11th number. So we have 10 numbers going in, and then there's a number, and then there's 10 numbers at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is where the first group of 10 ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means that this 21 right here is going to be the median. So if you said 21, good job. Now I want you to figure out what the mode is. The mode is the number that happens the most. Okay, so tell me what you see the mode is. Now there's more than one number that happens more than once. We have the number 27 happens a couple times. However, one number happens 3 times. So if you said 21, you are correct. So 21 happens 3 times. Now we need to find the mean. So what you're going to do is you're going to add up all of the numbers and then you're going to divide by 21. Go ahead and do that for me, please. The first thing we do to calculate the mean is to add up all of the numbers. And this is a lot of numbers. So I decided I would break this down by place value. So I'm going to start with how many tens there are, starting with the number 10. 10, and there's a 10 in the 12. So 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 10 is 30, 40. This has 2 10s, so that's 60, 2 10s, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 230, 260, 290, and then I break this 30 apart into 10 and 20, so that's 320, 360. So that's where I got this 360 at. Now we're just going to count up everything that's in the ones place. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10, 12, 19, 12, excuse me. Okay, 10, 17, yeah, 19, 23, 30, 31, 32, 33, 37, 37 plus 5 is 42, 49, 56, 57, 58, 59, 62, 67, 72. That's where I got the 72 at. So when I added these two numbers together, it was 432. Now we have to divide this by 21. So I'd like you guys to go ahead and do that for me. And remember, it does say that you can round to, right here it says, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So go ahead and divide 432, and you only have to go to the hundredths place so you can round the tenths place either up or down. So solve this for me, please. Okay, I started dividing, but I have not stopped. Well, I stopped because it's not over yet. But they wanted us to round to the nearest tenth. So when I got to the hundredth place and I found out that's a 7, is this 5 going to round up to 6 or will it stay 5/10? Answer that for me, please. Very good. It's going to stay 5/10. So really the mean is going to be estimated at 20 and 5/10. Okay. So would a dot plot be appropriate to display this data? And the answer is actually no. And the reason being that there's such a big range. The very smallest number is 2, and the largest number is 45. So if we were to take 45 and subtract 2, what's the range going to be? Exactly, the range is 43. So if this was a dot plot, it would have to be 43 plots long, and that's a little too long really to be able to see the data clearly. So this is why we're focusing on a new kind of way to represent data today called stem and leaf plots. Okay, go ahead and turn your book to page 816, and we're going to review the examples they have for us together. Okay, continuing our journey through data analysis, something else we need to know about is called stem and leaf plots. Okay, so we're going to choose pink today. Okay, here's a table of data. This table of data is the number of instant messages sent each day for 3 weeks. So text messages with our friends. And we can see there's lots of different numbers here. Some are very small, like 2. Some are quite a bit larger, like 45. A lot of drama going on that day. So how can we represent that? Well, one way to represent it is with a stem and leaf plot. And what that does is it kind of abbreviates it, makes it easier to understand by focusing on place value. Okay, so what you're going to end up doing is you make a table by drawing a line like this. You draw a vertical line, and that's going to cut the data into 2 pieces. The stem, which is larger place value, and the leaf. Now you see a lot of these numbers are less than 10. So that's why we put a 0 here, because there's a 0 in the tens place. So there's a day that we did 2 texts, 3 texts, 5 texts, 7 texts. But there are quite a few days in which we texted like between 10 and 19 times. So that's why there's a 1 here. So there's a 1 in the tens place. So on one day we did 10. 1 plus 0 is 10, or 110 plus 0 is 10. 110 and 2 is 12. So this would represent 14. This would represent 17. There were several days in which we texted 20 or more times. So 2 and 0 is 20. 2 and 1 is 21. 2 and 1 is 21. 2 and 1 is 21. And so forth. 24, 25, 27, 27. Okay? Now you can kind of see that probably our mode's going to end up being 21 because 2 and 1 occur 3 different times, and I don't think anything else occurs more than that. So there were several days that we did 30 or more texts, 31, 32, 33, 35.
But there's only one day where people were flipping out, and so we had to text 45 times. So 4 tens plus 5 is 45. Now, if you're not quite sure what these numbers mean, this is something called a key down here. So it's showing you that 2 and 7 means 27. So that helps you remember what was happening there. So in interpreting this, we can tell that 21 is the mode because that happened the most times. The smallest number is 2. That's the number with the least value. The largest number is 45. So the range is going to be 45 minus 2. And so the range is 43. And as far as the mode goes, the median goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21. Okay, so let's count 10 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it looks like the median is going to be right about here. So the median is also 21. Okay, so let's go look at another example. This particular example has a slightly different key. So 4/6 doesn't mean 46, it means 460. So we're looking at the height of waterfalls. So the very smallest waterfall is 4/6, which is 460. The tallest waterfall is 9/8, which would be 980. So over here, it's telling us that the range of values is going to be 980 minus 460. That's going to be 520. Okay, the most values occur between 600 and 690, so the most things happen here. As far as mode goes, there are 2 490s, there are 2 610s, so there are 2 different modes, okay? But most of the values are in the 600 range, okay? And here's another stem and leaf. Now down here, it's a little bit different. So there are 2 digits in the stem. So 35 and 6 is actually 356. So always check the key so you know how they've cut this by place value. The very smallest value is 340, which is 340. The greatest value is 367. So to find the range, we're going to subtract 340 from 367, and the range is 27 miles. Okay, so these are the miles that people drove when they went on vacation, when they asked a certain number of people. So as far as mode goes, 340 happens twice, 358 happens twice, 361 happens twice. There are 3 different modes. The median, though, let's see, there are 5, 8. Okay, so there are 18 values here because 5 plus 3 plus 5 is, well, take that, Miss Bradshaw lost your mind. There are 13 different values. So if we count, see, half of that was 6.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means the median is going to be right between these 2 values. So 558 and 558. So 558 is going to be the median. Okay?
If you need more examples, please go back to the lesson objective page and look at more examples that I've posted there for you. We are going to work on the independent practice now. Don't forget that if you go to the independent practice directions page, I will have worked through a couple of your independent practice problems for you. So you can either do those first and go back and check your work, or if you would like to work along with me on those problems, and then make sure you come to class because we're going to be talking and working on some more stuff together. But for right now, think back to what you feel the most important thing to remember about this lesson is, and it needs to be in a complete sentence, and it needs to be something relevant and factual about what we talked about today. Please don't say something general like what you taught, what I learned, what I heard, what you said. I don't know. Please say something that you can state was actually said today as a fact. Look in your book if you don't know what to say. Very good. So, what is the most important thing that you've learned today? Thank you for your thoughtful response, and I will see you later.